Hi everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic start to the new year. And speaking of New Year's, Lemax dropped their lineup for 2025 on New Year's Day, and today we're going to focus on their range for Christmas. Starting things off is this very cute teddy bear factory. This is probably as close to a Build-A-Bear workshop as we're going to get unless Department 56 pick up a licence for it, or if you have one commissioned for your collection. Wink wink. The style of this piece I think matches Santa's Wonderland far better than Caddington, so if you're a collector or displayer of just one range, you would certainly be forgiven for blurring the lines here. Arguably a plus point for this one is that there's no moving parts to go wrong. I think this one will be in your collection for a very long time. Here we have the really fun looking Kringle's courier, which will delight children both small and the really big. The tiny forklift in the loading scene is a great inclusion, as is the lovely looking delivery van. If I was to have one reservation about this, it'd be due to the chopper on the roof. It's just very generic and lacking detail compared to the rest of this piece. I love how clear the story is on this, and there's also a great little figure set to accessorise the scene in your village too. The Holly Jolly Empire is expanding further this year. Not content with their hotels and train stations, they are now getting into the hardware sector. This fantastic piece with warm golds and reds is your one-stop shop for all your do-it-your-elf needs. Be it paint, tools or lumber, is fully stocked behind these frosted windows. The windows are very reminiscent of those in Elf Lane, with the silhouettes of the elves working away. Possibly my favourite pieces of last year, the reindeer dens were a great success, and this year, now Prancer and Vixen on Comet and Cupid, the final 4 of the original 8 have been announced. Each of these dens have their own individual style to add character, but the one you may never get from Lemax is Rudolph. Rudolph is a creation of Robert May, who was a catalogue writer for a department store called Montgomery Ward. The store asked him to write a children's story they could give away at Christmas in 1939, instead of then continuing to purchase colouring books that they would give away. Wartime restrictions on paper meant that they could not reissue the book until 1946, but Montgomery Ward was so pleased with the success of the book that as a gift they gave the rights of Rudolph back to May clean and clear. Department 56 licensed the NBC special of 1964, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, from Character Arts. In this show, the copyright year of the Roman numerals were mismarked as 1164. This invalidated the copyright, throwing Rudolph immediately into the public domain upon its release. However, the Rudolph Company were quick to challenge and restored the trademark, and even claimed ownership on the rights of all variations of the name and likeness of Rudolph. You cannot trademark a name, and they lost the case in 2000 against Santa and Rudy. Still, it would be risky for a large company like Lemax to try and put the 9th reindeer in a den, maybe in 2034 when Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer truly enters the public domain. One of 2 new facades available this year, Noel Azars will surely be high on the list of must-haves for those looking to inject a little European feel into their village. Alsace is an historical region in northeastern France that borders Germany and Switzerland, and it's famed for its winemaking. This facade will make a great backdrop to any Christmas market. Our first table accent is the wonderfully detailed Santa's Workshop toys, featuring classics such as dolls' houses, rocking horses and teddy bears again. This is actually the 4th piece that we've had out of the 6 that have had a teddy bear as a feature. Someone must have been really pushing for these really hard this year. I think it's a shame that Lemax decided not to make this a lit piece, but have compensated fairly well by adding some detail via the decal at the back. For all of those that love their Dickensian villages, you will not want to pass up on Mrs. Cratchit's Christmas shops. This beautiful parade of shops not only gives a nod to Charles Dickens by one of his characters' names, but the bakery in the centre is the Bayham Street Bakery, and Dickens briefly lived in Bayham Street, Camden, from January 1822 to October 1823, when he was just 10 years old. Credit to Lemax here for doing the research and adding a little history to this future classic. When you've been out on the piste all day, what's better than chilling out with a brick oven pizza? The tiny village of Pine Grove also has a lodge and a chapel from 2012, and Pine Grove Pizza looks to be a great addition with this classic rustic charm. There's a case to be had that the 25 lineup does not have as many visually striking pieces as last year, but that cannot be said about number 2 on our list, the Tannenbaum Tower Christmas shops. I love the originality of the shops being recessed into the tree, and outside dining courtesy of the Treetop Cafe is a fantastic addition and adds real versatility to the theming. The tree itself is beautiful, and because of its 360 degrees of decoration, you can place this virtually anywhere and it'll still look great. If the price is fair, this will be the hottest property of the year. So if the Tannenbaum Tower is going to be the hottest property, and that's number 2, what is number 1? How many villages have you seen with a large tree at the heart of its town square, and how many of those have used a majestic tree? Pretty much all of them. But this year we have an alternative, bigger and better than the one before it. We have the Bluetooth Christmas tree. Standing 2 inches taller than the majestic tree, and even more exquisite lighting, to have a Bluetooth Christmas tree will really wow as a centrepiece to any village. And as the name suggests, you can even pair this with your phone for your village to echo with all your festive favourites, or maybe you will choose to have a more ambient soundtrack of cars driving by and kids playing in the snow. The point is your village can now have the sound that isn't a looping cacophony of cheesy voiceovers. You can make it as an individual as you are. I'm really excited about the possibilities of this, and I would have bought it on looks alone, but I think it's a great idea, and Christmas will be anything but blue with one of these in your village. If you'd like to see what's on offer for either Spooky Town or the Carnival, click on the links below in this description.